So we have three models. We have the 160, the 200, and the 280. It's just capacity, the bigger machines as they go along in the model versions. This one also is manual, and these are automatic. So this is the 160. It only has one hopper, so there's one hopper in here. It has two baskets, but it has an optional additional 4 baskets. But this is, as I said, a manual machine. So what happens here, you'll see it later, the fries are at the top here in the refrigerated department. You have your baskets underneath here, but you see at the top here there's a button. So to dispense the fries into the basket, they press the button. When they're dispensing the fries, they stop it, and now they have the fries to put into the fryer. This is a very, very simple version of this machine. There's no automation at all. Again, this is a 200. It has one hopper, but this has 6 baskets, as you see. There's only one dispensing, but you have an additional 5 baskets. But this one is a sensor type, so there's no button to manually dispense. Yep, you push the basket in, a sensor sees the basket is in place, and it will dispense the correct amount of fries on, small, medium, or large. And you have to program this into the machine. Then we have the 280, which is it's the same as the 200, just bigger. It's just a bigger version of that machine with more baskets. So these are some of the components that are inside the machine. So there's a diverter, this is your hopper, and you have, what do we call that, the drum. So your fries are going to sit inside of here. The drum is going to be turning to turn the fries into the basket, into the dispensing area, and then this plate is going to divert the fries into the basket. So you can see here there's an opening flap here, so when you push the basket into the back here, the fries are going to be sat, the correct amount, correct weight, is going to be sat here, and as you push the basket into the back, the door will open, and it will dispense the fries into the basket. And you can see inside here. Okay, so this is the accumulator housing. These pieces here are all removable. You can wash them, just take them to the sink and wash them. So this is the housing, these are the doors, and this is the flap door here, which diverts. The flap door is just diverting the fries into the basket. On this machine, this is all weight sensor. So the amount of fries which are sat on the door here, it's weighing them, so it knows if it's a small, medium, or large. This is the 200. At the side here, there's also a rack, because this is a refrigerated cabinet in here. So this is where you can store the actual bags of fries. So instead of having to go to the freezer, take the bag, take it to the machine, you can store them right at the side of the machine here inside. This is the fry guide here, I just told you. We have the basket guide here, and we have a drip tray here at the bottom. So this is the 280. The difference with the 280, we have the hopper again, which is full of the fries, and the drum here will be turning at the bottom here. But it has this extra rack, and this rack at the top is for hash browns. So if you're serving hash browns and you don't want to keep them in the freezer, you can put them on the top here, and then when you need them, you can take them into the basket and then put them into the fryer. So this is assembly. Again, we don't have the fry rack here, so it's a little bit difficult to show you the assembly. But we install a drip tray on the bottom of the machine here. We have a drip tray spacer, which goes on the top of the tray. And then we have the doors, those opening of the doors that I spoke about. And then we have this flap here, which is diverting the fries into the basket. This is like a rubber flap. There's a fry diverter at the top here, so it clicks into place. All of these parts are removable. Clicks into place. You see the drum again. So what you have to do, you see the hopper here has been lifted out. There's a motor drive shaft at the back here. So when we put the housing in, we have to turn this barrel because it has a square key. So we have to turn it to make sure it aligns with the motor as we push it in. If this won't push to the back, it's because this is out of line. All you do is just turn the drum, and then you'll feel it click into place, and now it will all fit backwards. This is the flat door again. This is the weighted door that I spoke about, the plastic rubber door. That's the accumulator housing, which sits on top of the door, and then again showing you the diverter again. This is all the same stuff I've just showed you. So the drum fitting in the bottom of the housing again, and then push the drum into the back. And then this is that storage area for the fries at the side of the drum. So this here is this, and this will be fitted down here. Fit the drip tray at the bottom. So here, sorry, the basket tray, not the drip tray. And again, this is the hash brown rack. There's lots of repeated things here I'm seeing. So. Okay, so you've got to turn the machine on 90 minutes before you need to use it. It's a refrigerated cabinet, so it needs to cool down, so you need to switch it on 90 minutes before. And it says once the temperature display has dropped to 10 degrees F or minus 12, then you can start to load the machine with fries. It says remove the bag of fries from the case, be careful not to crush the fries. If the fries get crushed and broken, it can actually affect this machine, so the fries need to be in perfect condition. It says hold up the opened end of the bag or box with a closed hand and lay it on top of the hopper with the opening toward the side opposite the diverter. So when we're pouring the bag of fries into here, we have to pour it to the opposite side of this piece of metal inside of the hopper. So pour them into this side here. So as I said before, with the hopper filled, we place a basket. This is the 160. Place a basket under the door, and then we use the button that will manually dispense into the basket. This is not automatic. This is the 160, the smaller unit. Yeah. So these are the weights for the dispensing of the fries. So we have a small, a medium, and a large. We have about a half pound, 225 grams with small, 450 grams medium, and 700 grams large. Now, these machines, these sensor machines, you do have to calibrate them to weight. So you have to tell the machine what the weight is, pound and a half pound, which we'll see later on. And as we said earlier, all we do with this 280 and 200, we put the baskets in, we push it to the back of the machine. There's a sensor at the back here which knows there now is a basket in place, and now it dispenses the correct amount of fries into the basket. This is the 200. The 200 has an alarm that indicates when the hopper has low level of fries, just like your ice cream machines or ice cream machines. This is the sensor here. So this is the hopper, the diverter, and the drum. You'll see the sensor at the bottom here. And again, this is all done by weight. The Model 280 has indicators for low, I was going to say low mix, low fries and full fries. So you see here, there's lines here at the top which indicate it's full, and then when it's running low and getting empty, you see these squares here at the bottom. That's an indication that it needs refilling. I'm not sure whether this is going to be relevant in Kuwait here, but it's APMEA, so it should be. APMEA is Asian Pacific, Middle East and Africa. That's what APMEA stands for. So it says when a large load is selected, the machine will automatically shift from a large to medium load size if the basket has not dispensed in 4 minutes. So this is for savings. So what it's saying is, if I have a large selected, but I've not dispensed the large in 4 minutes, that means I'm not busy. Okay, that means I have low sales. So instead of the next one we come to, it dispenses a full basket. It knows, well, you haven't been busy for the last 4 minutes, so let's step down from large to medium. And now you have a medium. If you want large, you just press large again, but it will automatically step down, just to save on cost, basically. This is for European units here, so I'm not going to say about this because this is obviously you're not in Europe. This has a last basket feature as well, so at the end of the day, it tells you to empty the accumulator housing and prevents automatic refilling. So basically what this is saying is that as it starts to get to empty at the end of the day, it's not going to ask you to refill again because it knows you don't need any more fries. This is just telling you how to use the feature. Okay. So to use the feature for the 200, you go to the user menu. When the screen displays last basket, you press OK. For the 280, you press the up arrow button when the display reads 1. And then you press the enter button. You place the basket under the accumulator door, just like this. And you lift the front of the basket slightly and slide the basket over the basket sensor. The accumulator doors will open and close, dispensing all the products into the waiting basket. The drum will not turn automatically or refill the accumulator housing, and now you can empty the hopper and dispose of the fries that you don't need. This is important. So the refrigerated cabinet has to be defrosted every single day. So they have to switch the machine off and unplug it, and they have to leave it for at least 1 hour to defrost. They need to open the cabinet door, they need to remove all of the parts, they need to wash, rinse and sanitize, and they need to allow them to dry. There's a button on the bottom. Yep, there you go. It says once the cabinet is fully defrosted, we need to wipe it down, internal and outside, with a hot solution of detergent. We need to rinse with water and repeat and sanitize, and then allow to dry. This is all just for health and safety. So required daily maintenance, turn the machine off for 1 hour, inspect the cabinet and remove components. Every month we need to clean and inspect the condenser, because it's a refrigerated system. Every 3 months we need to clean the condenser coils, inspect the door gasket and replace it if necessary, and check the door alignment. Okay, so this is the controller of the 160. It's a very simple controller. I don't think McDonald's are probably going to use the 160. They're probably going to use the 200 or the 280, I would say. Yeah. So there's the 200. So you can see there's a difference in the display on the 160 here, and this is the 200. So A is your programming menu button. You have your main LCD display. Down arrow and up arrow to navigate through the screens. You have your OK button to select the option. And here we have our small, medium and large baskets. And you can see it showing you the levels here of how much is in the basket. Again, 200, this is showing you the refrigeration status, showing you the temperature. If it says cooling, it indicates the refrigeration system is in the cool down stage. RAM 200 indicates the refrigeration system is in a normal refrigeration cycle here. And D indicates the cabinet door is open. That's the current temperature in B. C is the current selection, so this is £1. And D, current weight system status. Oh yeah, so we're filling here. And this is the 280, so you can see there's a big difference again in the 280 control. A, small basket size on the left side, B, small basket size, medium on the left, C, large on the left, D, we have the main screen again. Again, we have up and down arrows for selection and F for our OK. Enter button. And then we have also the same as this side we have on the right side. So we have low, medium, and full. So to access the menu, we press the menu button and hold it until the display reads user menu like this. And then we use the up and down arrow to scroll through the menus and OK to select the option that we want to. Let's see if this works. Okay, there we go. So, last basket, calibrate, last error, software, main screen, set targets, set temperatures, set language, set metric. That's Europe only, so we don't need to speak about this. and then set password. So we can put our own password into the machine. Okay, so access the menu, press the menu button until the display reads service menu, and then press the OK to select the service menu. We're then going to use the up and down arrows to scroll through the menu, and again press OK to select the menu we want to use. It says this is for the 200 by default, there is no password required. If pressing the OK does not enter the service menu, then a password is enabled. Enter the password if known. If the password is not known, a default password shown can be used. Okay? Error counts. Clear functions, so this is to clear all the history log. Adjust the temperatures. Current scale reading, how much is on scale. Refrigeration. So the top left value shows the refrigeration cycle status. Okay. Okay, so it's saying cool at the moment. If it said wait, it indicates the system is in a short cycle or in bypass mode. If it says cool, it indicates the system is in cooling cycle. If it says on, it indicates the system is in normal refrigeration. If it says off, it says normal refrigeration and the compressor is off. I don't understand why it's saying like A and B, but there's not A and B on here. Okay, so we have a test function on here, just like the grill I was saying before, so you can turn the components on and off in the test outputs. We have a refrigeration drum and accumulator, so we can run the refrigeration system, we can run the drum manually, and we can run the accumulator manually. This is where we would set the password. I know there is a default password, I think it says it later on in this. Because if you don't know the password, we have like a master password to be able to get into the system. Main screen, just takes you back to the main screen, so again, very simple. So again, this is 280. To access the menu, we press the up and down arrow button, press the enter button to select the menu option, and press the up and down arrow buttons to scroll through the menu items. It's all simple stuff. So, on the 280, we have these numbers and letters here. Okay, you're probably not going to remember all of these. These are all in the manual, so it tells you in the manual what U1 means. So in this case, U1 means the last basket cancel selections. Okay, so this comes later. U2 is calibration of the scales. U3 is to enter the manager menu. U4 is to enter diagnostic menu. U5 is for software version. This is the manager menu. So to access the manager menu, we go to U3, press the enter button to enter the manager menu. Again, there's no password, but this is the default password here. So if you don't know the password, or the manager may have forgot the password, this is the password, 22463. Okay. F1 is to exit the manager functions. F2 is to set the basket load target weights. F3 is to set the temperature. F4 is to set a differential, a temperature differential. F5 is to set to metric or English version. F6 is to set your password. And again here you can set, if you put 11111 in, it will clear any previous stored passwords. This is for the 280. This is the step down. This is for Europe, so we won't cover that. So to go into the diagnostic menu, we select U4. Okay, we press the enter button. Again, no password is needed unless it's been put in, and then we can use the default password again. D001 is to exit the diagnostics. D02 is display last error. D3, error log. D4 to clear the errors. D5 is to display and calibrate the temperature probe. D6 is not used. D8 is to reset the refrigeration errors. D9 is actuate outputs. So this menu option turns the components on and off. You can use this left drum motor, the left accumulator motor, right drum motor, right accumulator, and the compressor. This is like, no, you don't have 602. Again, this is in the manual because you're not going to remember this. Because this display is not a digital display, it's going to give you these lines. So you see they have like 8888, but depending on where the lines are on here, it's showing you what's happening. You're not going to remember this, you're going to need the manual to see this. But it's giving you the status of the input. Okay, so you can see here, this one, this is the door, this is the left basket sensor, and left drum motor. The top of the 8 here is left accumulator motor, left pump sensor, compressor, power refrigeration, accumulator sensor, drum motor, door, and basket sensor. It's very confusing, but if you use the manual, you'll be okay. D11 is to bypass the basket sensors. It says this feature is used to assist in diagnosing an issue or to operate the dispenser if the sensors failed. So this is really for service, to test. Bypass weighing, so this is to disable the scale. Again, this is for service, so this is to aid you in finding problems with the machine. D13 is to bypass the refrigeration, disable the refrigeration system. D14 is to display the scale weight. So this will actually display the current weight on the scale that's on at this moment. D15 is the current uncalibrated input voltage from the scale. So this is again for service if you're checking the voltages for service. Oh, okay, so D16 is it's used to break in and replace components. So this is if you've replaced a component and you want to break in the component, you would use this D16. It means just to run the component in. Restore to default, so factory reset, D17. D18 will give you the voltage, display the voltage. Okay, so this is the scale calibration. This is really the only thing you have to do to this machine, because you have to tell the machine what weight is on those scales. Okay, so I'll just read through this quickly. So again, you're not going to remember this. This is in the manual, so if you need to do this, you're going to get the manual. So this procedure is for calibrating the scales and the amount of fries that's in the accumulator housing. And this is so the basket weight appears in, if the basket weight appears inconsistent, or the measurements is changed, or the dispenser is reset to default, you have to perform this scale calibration. So first of all, we're going to open the door cabinet and remove the hopper assembly. leave the accumulator housing installed on the accumulator door. So we're just removing that big white accumulator and the drum. We're leaving everything else in place. And for the 200, we have to go to the user menu. And when the screen display is calibrated, we press OK. For the 280, we press the up arrow button. When the screen display is U2, we press the enter button and select the left basket size button to calibrate the left side, and the right basket size button to calibrate the right side. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the basket under the accumulator door, just like this. We're going to lift the front of the basket slightly and slide the basket over the basket sensor. The accumulator doors will open and close, dispensing any remaining product into the basket, ensuring the housing is empty. So we're just emptying the housing first. The scale is then going to zero itself. So after this, it's going to say place £1 for the R200 model, or 100 for the 280. So what we have to do then, we have to place a weight of £1 on the weighted doors. So on the doors where the fries would sit, we have to put a pound weight. Now, when I used to do this as a technician, I would use £1/4 of meat. So a frozen £1/4 pounder is a £1/4 pound. So 4 £1/4 pounders is £1. So when I put this onto the scale, I should see that it measures £1. Okay? If it doesn't, what does it say here? Oh, okay. So it's saying in the United States they use the mustard pouch of McFlurry Oreo. Canada, maybe we don't have. International, half-litre water bottle. And if we empty 50 grams, we have 450 grams, which is a pound. So we can use an empty or slightly empty water bottle. So once you put £1 weight onto the scale, you don't have to do anything, it's going to accept the weight. It's now going to ask you to place £2 weight onto the doors. So again, we can use something that's £2, or I would use 8 £1/4 pounders, which is £2. After the scale is stabilised, it will remove weights. And we remove the weights from the scale, and now it's calibrated. So that's it. That's the only thing you have to do with this machine is calibrate the scale. There's nothing else to do. Okay, so these are the standard default weights for the baskets. So we have £1/2 pound for small, £1 for medium, £1.5 for large. But we can actually change these weights. So if we go to the configuration menu and we go to set targets, or for the 280 we go to the manager menu, U3, and we go to F2. So we're then going to select either small, medium or large and press the OK button. This is for the 200. On the 280, we press the basket size button to customize. So then we're going to use the up and down arrow to increase or decrease what weight we want in that basket. And this is by 25 gram increments, £1/2 pound increments. So if we want this to be 0.75, we're going to press it up once, and this is not going to be half, it's going to be now 0.75. Or we can decrease it down to 200 grams for small, whatever we want to do. But I think the standard is this for McDonald's. So if you look inside of the cabinet, you're going to see this sensor here, this temperature probe. You see it's a thermistor probe here, and that's up in the top right-hand corner. And you're going to have to calibrate this. So if the control is replaced or the probe is replaced, you're going to have to calibrate it. And to check the temperature difference, we have to ensure that the cabinet has reached an initial set point before performing the calibration procedure. So it says place the thermometer into the cabinet and as close to the temperature probe as possible. And we're just calibrating to make sure the thermistor inside the machine is the same as the temperature probe that we're putting into the machine. And we have to wait 5 minutes for this to stabilise. Okay? If the temperature probe we've placed inside is different than this, then we can set a temperature differential. So if the temperature probe reads 5 degrees and the actual internal thermistor reads 6 degrees, we have a degree differential. So we would have to go into here and place a 1 degree differential. So now it's reading the correct temperature. It says here if the temperature is more than 2 degrees, we have to do this. So we have to calibrate the probe. So you remember the probe on the grill has a 3 degree acceptance, plus or minus. This is a 2 degree acceptance. So to calibrate the probe, we have to go to the service menu and go to adjust temp and press the OK button. For the 280, we have to go to U4 diagnostic menu and wait for it says D5 and then press enter. The display will show the temperature the probe is currently reading, and then we use the up and down arrow to decrease or increase the temperature to match the probe we placed inside of the machine. Okay, so it's basically the same as the grill. We have a probe on the grill manually, and we have an internal probe. We have to make sure the internal probe is the same as the external probe. Same thing. Okay, parts. Now, as you'll see here, there's not very many parts inside this machine. So this is the 160, this is the very small machine. We have the push button. So this is the button we're pressing to dispense fries. We have our temperature controller, so our display. We have our power switch here, and we have a door heater. Because on the door there is a strip which runs around the door, and it's a heated strip. So it's to stop the door from sealing. It keeps it heated so we can open and close the door. Okay? And that's this point here. Again, this is the 160, but again, there's not many components. We have a power supply here. We have the refrigeration relay here. We have the relay board here. We have the drum motor here. We have the door motor here. And we have the compressor and condenser down here. Now this is the 200. We have the display. We have the door switch. We have the power switch. And we have the door heater. Same as before. Again, 200. It's basically the same as we've just said, but the only difference is now we have this sensoring system here. So we have the driver board, we have the power supply, we have the fry sensor, we have the refrigeration relay, we have the drum motor, and we have the accumulator motor here. We have the accumulator heater up in the top left at the bottom of the cabinet here. We have the basket sensor just behind the compressor here. We have the compressor and condenser here. We have the HPCO. Does anybody know what HPCO, high pressure cutout refrigeration system? And we have the refrigeration relay here. So the default cabinet temperature is 0, minus 18, with a differential of 3 degrees. There's 354 grams of 404 refrigerant, or 1.46 grams of 290 refrigerants. Now, I'm sure you all know we're moving away from 404A. It's disappearing, 404, and for this machine we're going to be using R290, which is basically butane. The suction pressure for R405A between 21 and 55, with a 3 to 3 differential, and for 290 it's 7 to 34 or 1 to 5 psi. And the high pressure cutout is activating at 425 psi. So, the way I always think about pressure and temperature in a refrigeration system, the higher the temperature, the higher the pressure. The lower the pressure, the lower the temperature. So if you have a high pressure cutout, you have a high temperature, which means you have high pressure in the refrigeration system. That could be condenser, could be no airflow, there's many things that could be. I'm sure you guys know all this. Okay, so components on the actual board, the PCB board itself. So we have our connection for our voltage here, our 24 volts DC. B, this is our sensor for our fries. This is our feedback relay for our refrigeration system. We have the basket sensor on D. We have the home sensor on E. We have the display board on F. We have the accumulator on G. We have the drum motor on H. the refrigeration relay on I, the cabinet temperature probe here on J, and the weight sensor here on K. Okay, so these are the 280, so this is the big machine components. We have our display here, we have our door switch here, we have our power switch here, and again we have a door heater strip here. Basically the same as a 200, the only thing is now we have two sides, because we have two dispensers on the 280. So power supply, driver board, relay for refrigeration, drum motors, DME, and accumulators for right and left. Again, 280. So accumulator heater here, basket sensor right and left, B and C, refrigeration feedback relay on D, HCPO, and compressor condenser here. So again, the temperature is -18 C, 0 F for your set point. And I think they're the same, aren't they? 146, yeah, they're the same refrigerant weights for the refrigerant system. This is the PCB board, a little bit more complicated than the 200, but we have our 24 volts DC input, again on the right, here on A, refrigeration relay, drum motor on the left, drum motor on the right, accumulator motor on the right, weight sensor left and right, cabinet probe, sensor here, basket sensor, accumulator sensor, basket sensor left, accumulator sensor left, feedback relay, door switch, display here, keypad here, and processing board here. Okay, so this is the motor assembly for the drum motor, which is turning the fries into the basket. So this is monitoring the weight on the accumulator door, so this is how it knows what it's dispensing, the weight of what it's dispensing, and it's also opening the accumulator door. So it says the amount of product on the accumulator door is measured by weight. With the accumulator housing in place, the outgoing voltage to the sensor board should be approximately 2.5 to 3.5 volts. The reading increases by 1 volt for every pound that you place on the accumulator doors. It says the driver board monitors the status of the encoder disk B here. So you see there's an encoder here, and you see this is turning with the opening here. The home sensor C starts in the home position. The encoder must leave leaving 0.5 seconds. Once clear of the home position is this opening here. The encoder disk makes a half turn and the accumulator pauses. So this is going to turn and it's going to pause. After the accumulator doors resume turning, the encoder must find the home position within 2 seconds. So it's going to turn half and then it's going to turn again until it sees the opening and it's going to stop. So this is the door heater, HT1 here. I've already spoken about this, so this is the heater strip which is continually heating to stop the door from freezing shut. The 200 and 280 also have an accumulator heater. This heater runs continuously to prevent the moisture around the accumulator door from freezing, which prevents the door from freezing shut. So that's for the accumulator door, the opening doors. There's your refrigeration diagram for your refrigeration dies. Yeah, that's 160. That's 200. That's 280. So that's probably one of the most simplest refrigeration systems you can do. There's no soldering in there. It's just a simple compressor, refrigerant running through the compressor, filter dryer, capillary tube up into the top to refrigerate the top of the cabinet, then coming down to a three-way valve. Well, actually, it's not even a valve, it's just a three-way valve. To the left, to the right, and to the back, through the accumulator, back to the compressor, and through again. Okay. That's the wiring diagram for the 200. I'm not going to go through the wiring diagram. This is in the manual. You can see it in the manual. That's it. It says 112. Oh, you don't see what I'm saying. It says 112 screens. We did not. Did we just say 112 screens?
Right board is not with double board is not. Without
We've just seen the whole presentation. That's it. There's nothing else. That's how simple it is. It's not a very difficult machine. It's a very simple machine. Again, quite simply, all you have is just to overview. You have a refrigerated cabinet. You have a storage unit. At the bottom of the storage unit is a drum which is turning. Okay, it's dispensing. We're going to put the fries into the top of the housing inside, and it's going to keep those fries refrigerated. And then when we select the bottom, we put the baskets into the bottom. It's going to turn the drum. It's going to turn the drum enough for small, medium, or large. Okay, those fries are going to sit on top of those doors. The doors are going to weigh the product. As soon as it's seeing ½ pound, a pound, or a pound and a half, what we want, it's going to stop turning the drum. So there at the doors, we have sat the right amount of fries. Then when we push the baskets into the back, the fries dispense into the basket, and now the whole thing happens again. The drum will turn, it will dispense the fries onto the door, ready to dispense the fries into the basket. It's very simple. Very, very simple. As I say, I used to work on these machines in McDonald's many years ago. The only thing I ever had to do was reset to default and calibrate the scale. That's it. I never did anything else. Just calibrate the scale, reset to default, calibrate the scale. If you're having any problems with this machine, I've had a few engineers call me, they have problems. If you have any problems, reset to default, calibrate the scale again, you'll be fine. It'll be finished. You have no more problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to speak to Hassan. I'm going to see if he wants me to just maybe start to cover the freezers, or we wait till tomorrow. If we wait till tomorrow, fine. If not, we'll start it. We'll start it now. Do you have any questions about this machine? No, I think it's yeah. But again, the problem is you're not going to work on this machine for months and months and months. So even though I give you some information, you want to forget that information. The same with the drum. Someday you will. Someday you will. Where is Hassan? Oh, hang on. I'll text him. I'll send him a message.